So imagine the absolute worst case scenario. Like you were completely alone, maybe you're facing a terminal illness, or you were literally starving to death.
Yeah.
What is the most logical, natural response to that kind of situation? Panic, anger, like total despair.
Yeah, I mean, panic for sure, total despair.
Right, because for most of us, those reactions just feel completely hardwired. But what if I told you that the only truly logical response to that level of suffering is, get this, gratitude?
I mean, that sounds completely counterintuitive, almost a bit absurd at first glance, honestly.
Really?
It goes against every single survival instinct we have,
Oh,
to fight suffering and demand justice when things just go completely wrong.
it really does. But today's deep dive explores a framework that demands exactly that kind of radical shift. We're unpacking a fascinating and honestly pretty challenging philosophical essay today.
Mm-hmm.
It was written by Xuefeng on June 12, 2025. And it's titled The Essence of Being Human: Contentment, Gratitude, and Cherishment.
And right out of the gate, I feel like we should set the parameters for this deep dive.
Good idea.
Because we are not here to preach. And we are definitely not here to tell you how to live your life or, how to process your own personal trauma.
Absolutely not. Our mission today is purely exploratory
Mm-hmm.
because Xuefeng presents this radical, almost mathematical, philosophical framework.
Mathematical, yeah.
Right. He makes the argument that our darkest, most agonizing moments aren't random tragedies. They are precise equations.
Which is a wild way to look at it.
Right. And those equations are meant to be solved through three very specific attitudes.
And, whether you ultimately agree with this perspective or find it completely abrasive, digging into its underlying logic is guaranteed to make you view your next frustrating day in a different way.
Or even a catastrophic one.
Exactly. It is a complete paradigm shift regarding how we process reality.
So to really wrap our heads around how this philosophy demands we react to extreme hardship, we have to start at the foundation. Like, how does Xuefeng actually view the universe itself?
Right.
Because he definitely doesn't see it as a random, chaotic swirl of events where bad things just, happen to good people.
Far from it. The universe in this view operates on flawless mathematical logic.
Flawless.
Flawless. There is exact, undeniable cause and effect at play every single second. Like, Xuefeng argues that he has searched both heaven and earth and found that absolutely everything moves within a finely tuned, perfect program.
A flawless program.
Yeah.
And that includes the sun, the earth, cattle, sheep, plants, caterpillars, and humans. Like, nobody gets an exemption.
Nobody.
I keep visualizing this like a massive computer operating system. In our everyday lives, we feel like we're constantly hitting glitches, right? We get cut off in traffic or we deal with toxic people.
Or basement floods.
Yes, our basement floods. And we view those as bugs in the system of life. But this philosophy insists there are zero bugs. If you're experiencing an error, it is purely a user error.
Exactly. It completely strips away the concept of randomness or bad luck from the human experience. And the essay illustrates this with a seemingly gentle proverb. Oh, the butterfly one.
Right. When the flower is fragrant, butterflies will come.
Which sounds beautiful. Very poetic. Like something you'd see cross-stitched on a pillow,
It does sound lovely,
Right.
Until you look at the sharp implication behind it.
Right.
Because if no butterflies come, you
Yeah.
cannot blame the butterflies. It means the flower lacks fragrance.
Wow.
And Xuefeng immediately applies this to human relationships.
Hmm.
If someone around you is cruel, foolish, irrational, or untrustworthy, you cannot blame them. You attracted them.
Oof.
The problem isn't their behavior. The problem is you.
Okay, I have to stop right there. Because for you listening, I imagine that feels incredibly harsh.
Oh, absolutely.
It's one thing to say, hey, we attract the energy we put out. Like if I'm grumpy at the coffee shop, the barista might be grumpy back.
Sure, basic karma.
Right. But to say that if I am surrounded by deeply cruel, untrustworthy people, I am basically the unfragrant flower to blame. Let's bring it down to a Tuesday at the office.
If I have a micromanaging, emotionally abusive boss,
Yeah.
is this framework really saying it's my fault for attracting them? Because, that borders heavily on victim blaming.
It is incredibly jarring, and it's a perfectly natural reaction to push back on that. Like, why would any philosophy take such an uncompromising stance?
Exactly.
But if we look at the psychological mechanics of what Xuefeng is proposing, it's about systematically destroying the illusion of victimhood to give you back your power.
Are you saying it's about control? Like, if I blame my boss for being toxic, my reality is at the mercy of their flaws.
Right.
But if I blame the universe as math, if I accept that I'm the flower that drew them in, I somehow control my own reaction.
You've hit the nail on the head. Think about the emotional toll of blame. When you blame someone else, you are helpless. You are just a passive participant in a messy emotional drama.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But by accepting the premise of a flawless program, you reclaim total agency. You shift from having an emotional, helpless reaction to taking a stance of logical observation. It becomes pure cause and effect. If the universe is flawless, then acknowledging that you somehow attracted this cruelty is the first and only step to rewriting your own code.
Okay, let's say I buy into that. Let's say I accept this radical agency. The immediate glaring question is, why did I attract them?
Ah.
If the system is a flawless program giving me an error code in the form of a terrible person, what is the purpose of that error?
That brings us to what we might call the cosmic accounting system.
Okay.
Schweffing transitions from the broad laws of nature to the hyperspecific mechanics of human interaction, and he introduces the concept of a cosmic ledger.
The ultimate universal spreadsheet.
Yes, exactly.
The essay lays this out with stark clarity, actually. It says, if you owed no debt to the world, you wouldn't even be born. If you owed no favor to another person, your paths simply wouldn't cross.
It leaves no room for coincidence. There's a specific line that captures this perfectly. It goes, "Heaven's net is vast, it's mesh wide, yet nothing slips through." Yeah, so if you are being cursed at, deceived, oppressed, or exploited by someone, it is not a random injustice. It is simply an old debt that you are finally repaying.
Which means the toxic boss from our earlier example isn't just a bad roll of the dice. They are like a collection agent for the universe.
A collection agent, yes. That's a great way to put it.
And Zufeng argues you should actually be deeply grateful you have this current life to settle these accounts. Because if you default on this cosmic debt, the ledger rolls over with massive interest.
Oh, the stakes are incredibly high here. If you don't settle the accounts through acceptance now, the penalty in the next cycle is severe.
What kind of penalty?
Being reborn as an ox, a horse, or falling into something akin to hell to suffer even more.
Oh, wow.
You are clearing the books now to avoid a catastrophic spiritual bankruptcy later.
I understand the internal logic of the ledger. I really do. But I just can't shake the real-world danger of this. Like, if someone actively exploits me, or let's say someone is in a genuinely abusive relationship and they just view it as paying off a cosmic credit card bill, doesn't this mindset risk turning people into passive punching bags?
That is the most common and vital critique of deterministic philosophies, hands down.
Right.
But looking closer at the mechanics of this text, Xu Feng isn't advocating for passivity. He isn't telling you to just lie down and absorb damage forever.
He's not.
No, he is outlining the creation of an impenetrable internal shield.
Okay, so instead of fighting back and creating a new tab on this cosmic DAR tab, I'm just paying the bill and walking out.
Precisely. Think about the mechanism of revenge. If you view mistreatment as a random injustice, your natural response is anger and retaliation.
Of course.
But what happens when you retaliate? You open a new line of credit. You generate fresh karmic debt, tying yourself to that abuser for yet another cycle.
Oh, I see.
By viewing the oppression as settling an old debt, the cycle of anger dies with you. You neutralize their power over your internal state. You aren't being a passive victim. You are an active participant in clearing your own ledger so you can finally be free of them.
Okay, I see how that works for everyday conflicts. Using that mental shield to deal with a deceitful friend or a bad boss makes a certain kind of psychological sense. But Schifeng doesn't stay in the realm of everyday annoyances. He essentially runs an extreme stress test on his own theory.
He really does.
He pushes it to the absolute darkest corners of the human experience to see if this philosophy actually holds up.
And this is where the essay shifts from abstract philosophy to a hardcore survival guide.
Yeah.
He isolates these three core tenets, gratitude, contentment, and cherishment, and applies them to absolute worst-case scenarios.
Let's look at his stress test for gratitude. He poses the question, should I be grateful when I'm starving?
Right.
And his answer is, if you are starving and have exactly 10 minutes before you die, yes, you must be grateful.
Which is heavy.
Very. He calls gratitude the hand that stops you at the cliff's edge and the art of turning back from death.
It's crucial to understand the mechanism here, though. Schweffing isn't suggesting that feeling grateful is going to magically materialize a sandwich and save your life in those last 10 minutes.
Right. It's not a magic spell.
No, he's talking about saving the state of your consciousness.
I was thinking about this like a psychological parachute cord.
Okay, how so?
Imagine you are falling from a plane, the ground is rushing up at you, and you realize your main chute is gone.
Terrifying.
Right. Pulling the reserve parachute cord with 10 seconds left isn't going to stop you from hitting the ground. The physical outcome is completely sealed.
Yeah.
But the act of pulling, the act of finding that radical gratitude in your final 10 minutes changes your entire relationship with the fall. It transforms absolute terror and panic into a profound final state of peace.
That captures the emotional mechanism perfectly. It shifts your focus away from the terror of what is being lost and redirects it toward a pure appreciation for the sliver of consciousness you still possess.
It's about how you exit the stage.
Exactly. And he applies a similar extreme test to the concept of contentment.
Right, he moves from starvation to absolute rock-bottom poverty. He asks us to imagine having absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all.
You are digging through a garbage heap and you find a broken bowl. That is your only possession. But, he argues, if you can still walk, if you can still beg, and if you can still see the blue skies, white clouds, green hills, and flowing waters, you lack absolutely nothing.
He completely redefines the geometry of wealth. Like, if your heart finds contentment holding a broken bowl, he says you are already a rich soul among mortals.
A rich soul.
The text claims this level of contentment unlocks the clear breeze, the bright moon, and heaven itself. The physical world is reduced to trash, but your internal world expands to absorb the entire cosmos.
It's a beautiful image, finding the cosmos in a broken bowl.
It really is.
But then we hit the third tenet, and this is without a doubt the most confrontational part of the entire essay, cherishment.
Oh, yeah, this part is tough.
Sufeng poses a scenario of utter degradation. He asks, but others humiliate me. They even piss on my head. Should I still cherish this? And his answer is an unequivocal yes.
Yep.
Cherish the encounter. Cherish the humiliation. Cherish the chance to repay the debt.
This is a massive stumbling block for a modern reader. I mean, it feels viscerally wrong.
Totally wrong.
But again, we have to look at the psychological mechanics. What is cherishment actually doing in this scenario? Because Shuifeng isn't promoting masochism. He's not saying you should enjoy being degraded.
Right. If it's not masochism, it sounds almost like an emotional martial art. Like you are taking the sheer, brutal force of someone's cruelty and somehow using it to harden your own resolves. Is that what he means?
That's a great way to frame it. He describes cherishment as a gentle medicine that sustains bonds and an elixir that invites unseen help from deities. It's described as a highly protective energy.
Wait, unseen help from deities. Let's ground that for a second. Is he talking about literal magical interventions, like an angel is going to swoop down and stop the person humiliating you? Or is this a metaphor for something else?
In the context of a flawless mathematical universe, deities can be understood as the ultimate harmonizing forces of that system.
Okay.
Think of it as an energetic mechanism. When someone attempts to degrade you, they are trying to assert dominance and provoke a reaction.
They want you to get mad.
Exactly. If you meet that humiliation with radical cherishment, if you completely accept it without anger, you starve their ego. You disrupt their intended power dynamic.
Oh, wow.
This internal fortress of radical acceptance preserves your core dignity so completely that it almost feels supernatural. It acts as a safeguard for your spirit when your physical or social dignity is under attack.
So you are basically becoming energetically bulletproof. But it begs the question, why put yourself through these impossible mental gymnastics? Why work so hard to feel gratitude while starving or to cherish someone actively degrading you? According to the essay, the reason is scale. The stakes aren't just about feeling a little better on a Tuesday.
No, the stakes are infinite.
Right. The scope of this philosophy is staggering. Sufeng states that good has no ceiling and evil has no floor. Good expands without bounds, while evil falls into infinite darkness.
And he writes that if you remain discontent and ungrateful in your darkest hour, if you clutch onto that bitterness and anger, your situation will deteriorate endlessly.
There is literally no bottom to the suffering.
None. But if you can practice these three tenets while you still have breath in your lungs, the wheel of fate turns. It pivots away from darkness and toward light.
Breath is the ultimate leverage point. As long as you are conscious, you possess the power to turn that massive wheel of fate.
It's powerful stuff.
It is. But just as you think you have this philosophy figured out, Shuifeng delivers a massive twist at the end of the essay that forces you to reevaluate everything we've just talked about.
Oh yeah, the quiz.
Yes. This was the part that made me stop reading and go back a page. After all this intense discussion about repaying debts, turning the other cheek, and finding gratitude in the garbage heap, he explicitly writes, I am not teaching you to be a good person.
It is a brilliant, totally unexpected rhetorical pivot.
But what does it actually mean? Because to anyone listening, someone who forgives their abusers and finds gratitude while starving sounds like the absolute pinnacle of being a good person.
Right.
Why does he draw a hard line separating his philosophy from simply being good?
Because we view being good through the lens of human society. But remember the very beginning of the essay, we are dealing with a flawless mathematical universe. Being a good person is a subjective, human-made construct.
Right, it's about social morality. We act like good people, so society rewards us, or so our peers respect us, or even just to, pat ourselves on the back. It's tied to the ego.
Exactly. And Xu Feng's philosophy isn't interested in social morality or ego. It is interested in cosmic physics.
Cosmic physics. I like that.
He argues that contentment and gratitude are the defining characteristics of a high-level life. The objective isn't to earn a moral merit badge from society. The objective is to elevate your state of existence so you can, as he puts it, feel the fragrance of paradise.
So it's not a moral achievement, it's an evolutionary leap.
Yes.
A socially good person might forgive a toxic boss because they want to take the high road or be the bigger person. But a high-level life cherishes the humiliation because they literally see the math.
Right.
They see the cosmic ledger balancing out, and they are actively choosing to ascend toward that infinite light rather than getting dragged down into infinite darkness.
It fundamentally changes the motivation. You aren't doing it for them, and you aren't doing it for society. You are doing it to align your own toad with the flawless program of the universe.
It has been quite a journey unpacking this.
It really has.
We started with the idea of a universe running perfectly, where your suffering is simply an error code caused by your own unfragrant flower. And we dug into the cosmic ledger, where every cruelty you endure is just an old debt finally being paid off.
And we explored the absolute extremes of this mindset, using gratitude as a parachute in your final moments, finding the cosmos in a broken bowl, and using cherishment as an invisible shield against the worst human degradation.
I want to remind you that our goal wasn't to convince you to adopt this cosmic ledger as your new personal reality. The real value is in the mental exercise.
Yeah, just trying it on.
It's about seeing how dramatically your perspective shifts when you force yourself to view a painful situation not as a random injustice to scream at, but as a precise equation waiting for you to solve it. It offers a radical kind of agency when you feel like you have nothing left.
It's a profound shift from being a victim of circumstance to being the architect of your own cosmic trajectory.
But, as always, we want to leave you with something to chew on. Something that builds on Xu Feng's logic, but complicates it in a really fascinating way.
Oh, this is a good one.
If we accept this premise, if every piece of cruelty we endure is simply our own necessary cosmic debt being perfectly balanced by the universe, what does that mean when we see someone else suffering?
That is the ultimate paradox of this entire framework.
Right. If you see someone starving or someone being violently oppressed, your human instinct is to intervene. But if you step in to help them, are you acting as a beautiful expression of that fragrant flower? Or by intervening, are you accidentally robbing them of their necessary chance to repay their own karmic debts?
Wow.
If the universe's program is truly flawless, does stepping in to fix someone else's suffering make you the bug in the system?
It forces you to question the very nature of compassion. Like, how do you practice empathy in a universe that is strictly mathematically deterministic?
It's a heavy paradox, and it's something to seriously think about the next time you encounter a difficult situation, whether it's yours or someone else's. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Xu Feng's philosophy. Stay curious, keep questioning the frameworks around you, and we'll catch you next time.